bit about the different gold colors, the different carat options, gold versus platinum. We're also gonna have a little segment at the end in case you guys are allergic to or have allergies to certain metals, some options that you guys can consider at the very end, so stick around for that. And yeah, so let's just dive into it. Should you be choosing 10, 14, 18, or 22 carat? We don't really go over 22 carat just because, you know, if you're hitting 24 carat rings, one is going to be way too soft of a metal, because if you're not sure kind of like how it works, the higher you get to 24 carat, the softer the metal it is, because pure gold is actually very, very soft. You can barely even polish it because just in polishing you're going to be removing quite a bit of metal. That's why usually for 24 carat you see usually very like matte finishes, not very high polished finishes. It will also scratch very easily because it is so soft. Usually I don't suggest going over 18 carat for an engagement ring because it is something you are going to be wearing every single day. But in terms of yellow gold, the more, like the higher the carat, it's going to be more and more yellow. The saturation is going to be a lot stronger. So when you're hitting 24 carat, it's very yellow, versus if you go all the way down the scale to say 10 carat, it gets a lot paler. And so I think in North America, we're very used to 10 to 14 carat. Most people here do not like 18 karat yellow and up. It's too saturated for them, versus I have a lot of clients who are, for example, from India or from Brazil, you know, there for them, under 18 karat is considered lesser than. So they actually are looking for that very yellow carat. And so I think it's really kind of personal choice. Me personally, I love 18 karat. I think it looks very luxurious. It looks very rich. The one thing that I would consider is if you are going into higher carats, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be softer. And so I know today's trends are all about dainty, it's all about like super, super thin bands, super little clusters, things like that. In those circumstances, you want to make sure that, you know, if you want to go dainty, maybe you don't go over 14 karat. If you have thin rings over time, just from like wear and tear, picking up grocery bags, whatever, your band's going to start to warp. Like guaranteed. It'll actually also start to probably cause negative impacts on the stones. So if the settings are moving around, it's because the metal is moving, your stones could pop out. Then we have like the white golds. So generally I find 14 karat is a nice white, 18 karat is fine as well. When you start to go to 10 karat, I find that it starts to have like a slighter, almost like a yellower hue. Another thing is that white gold is never going to be as white as platinum. When you actually buy any white gold jewelry, this is standard across everyone. We all rhodium plate our gold jewelry. So rhodium plating, if you don't know what that is, it's a type of electroplating of a rhodium, the metal, but it has a very white look. And so when you see white gold jewelry, like in pictures and things like that, that white look is caused from rhodium. And over time, it does wear off. It's totally normal. It's really not the end of the world. You can get it redone. Generally, I always tell people that, you know, you should always be bringing back your engagement rings in anyways every 5 years to do a little touch up. It's like a car. It needs maintenance for something that you're wearing every single day. And so when you are going to be bringing it in, you can request like a repolish and re-rhodium at the same time to make your jewelry look new and fresh again. If you are looking for something that's very, very white, there is 18 karat super white. But the problem with 18 karat super white is that it has very, very high contents of nickel. And so a lot of people are actually going to be allergic to it. So then of course we have platinum. It's a metal that if you're concerned about the aging of the metals, like for example white gold, if you're concerned that over time your 14 karat is going to start to kind of like not have that crisp white anymore, that crisp color that you're looking for, then maybe I would suggest going to platinum, just in the sense that like platinum is not rhodium plated, and it never will be, and it will hold the same color over time. And so people really like that color. One thing that I also personally love is that it's a very heavy metal. And so for the same ring, it's going to be like significantly heavier for the same piece in platinum. And I love that weight on my finger. Like just like a little side note, so if you have 14 karat gold, 18 karat, 10 karat, whatever, the weight of gold for the same amount is going to change depending on the carat. So let's say you have 1 gram of 14 carat, let's say that's like our starting point. If you have the same amount in 10 carat, it's actually going to be 0.89 times 14 carat. So it's actually going to weigh less, versus if you have say 18 carat, I think it's 1.17 times the weight of 14 carat. Versus platinum is going to be, I think, 1.67 times the weight of 14 karat gold. It's going to be almost twice the weight for the same amount. Right now, I think platinum, the prices are pretty okay. It's similar to the prices of 18 karat, but you're gonna be paying almost twice the price in weight. When you think about it that way, it will cost a little bit more. All the golds will have different weights depending on like how pure they are. So the purer they get, the heavier they get, because gold is heavier than the other alloys in the mixtures. So the lower you go down the carat scale, like all the way down to 10 karat, there's more alloys, right? 10 karat has 50% alloys, 50% gold. So it is going to be a lot lighter than 24 karat. Don't worry about that too much. Like, it shouldn't be something that you're considering. I'm just saying it for the fun of it, because when you think about like your engagement ring, for example, or your earrings or your necklace, like they're so light, you know what I'm saying? Like your ring, a women's engagement ring or wedding bands, I mean, you're looking at somewhere between, I'd say on average, 2 to 4 grams, okay? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less depending on the design. It's gonna be such a insignificant price difference, it doesn't matter. I think when it really starts to show is when you're like having like huge Cuban links, chains, the prices are going to show. So the one thing before buying your engagement ring is, are you allergic to anything? It's kind of common to have nickel allergies. I'm pretty sure by the time you're buying an engagement ring, you will know or not if you have allergies to certain metals. I have met people on the rare occasions who are actually allergic to gold, but again, it's very, very rare. Most people, when they have allergies, it is to nickel. Yellow gold and rose gold is going to be the preferred option because they won't have nickel, or they shouldn't have nickel anyways, versus white gold will have nickel content in it. There are different alternatives such as like palladium white gold. Palladium white gold, instead of having nickel, it's mixed with palladium. However, in my experience, it's not a metal that I like to work with. It's actually a metal that cracks quite easily. If you have like hundreds of rings and 2 or 3 of them prong cracks, I guarantee you it's going to be palladium gold. I think I mentioned it earlier as well, like there's things like 18 karat super white, stay away from that, that's going to have nickel as well. Ultimately, I think you should just ask your jeweler, kind of like ask us for advice, because every mixture of gold is actually going to be different. There's no standardized alloy composition from jeweler to jeweler to jeweler. We all have our own mixtures and they can vary slightly. And if you're not sure about like the gold color that you want, like the fun thing about making jewelry today is that we have the technologies to render. So like for me, for example, when my clients aren't sure about like engagement rings in rose gold or yellow gold, we'll actually send them renderings in both tones, so you guys can actually choose before committing to a color before we actually make it. So it gives you a little bit more security and reassurance of knowing that you're really choosing the style that you like better, because I mean, once you see them in 3D, you'll really be able to tell, okay, no, it doesn't look good in rose, it looks better in yellow, let's go yellow. Oh, also, if you do want to mix golds, like one last thing, if you want to mix golds, it is also a possibility. I know it's not super in style anymore, I feel like it used to be more popular, but you can always mix like yellows and whites and things like that. So it's a little bit more technical on our end, but if that's something that you guys like, that's always an option as well. So anyways, if you guys have any other questions, please leave them down below and I will try to answer them. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and we will see you next time.